Okay, you guys. I need you to get out a piece of paper for some notes. I need you to get out a piece of paper for some notes. Okay, on your piece of paper, I want you to flip it sideways. Now I want you to divide it into 3 columns. On the first column, I want you to write simple. In the second column, I want you to write compound. And on the third column, I want you to write complex. So, for your notes, it's going to look like this. There's going to be 3 columns: simple, compound, and complex. Okay, so whenever we're talking about complex, you're going to be writing here. Whenever we're talking about compound, you're going to be writing here. Whenever we talk about simple, you'll be writing in this column. 30 more seconds to write down this chart. Everyone got it? Okay. All right. So, we are learning about clauses and sentences today. What are we doing? We're demonstrating a command of the conventions of standard English grammar and usage when writing and speaking. Our goal for today is to be able to identify the difference between dependent and independent clauses, and to be able to write simple, compound, and complex sentences. Go ahead and get out a piece of paper for notes. Okay, so identifying the difference between dependent and independent clauses and writing simple, compound, and complex sentences. Clauses. So an independent clause stands by itself. It is a sentence. So an independent clause is kind of like Batman. He can stand alone. Okay, a dependent clause does not stand by itself and is not a complete sentence. Kind of like Robin is a sidekick to Batman. Robin needs Batman to be a hero. Batman can be a hero by himself, but Robin needs Batman. Okay? Okay, words often used to begin a dependent sentence. These are a few of them. So, like, if you were to write, in the story, see how that's not a complete sentence, but it's like a phrase? So that would be a dependent clause. That would be like Robin, in the story, because it's not a full sentence. Or, after I left home. See how that's not like a full sentence? A dependent clause needs to be attached to an independent clause in order to be a sentence. So Batman and Robin need to be together to complete a sentence with an independent and dependent clause. Types of sentences. So this should go under simple sentence in your notes. This should go under simple sentence in your notes. A simple sentence has one independent clause and no dependent clauses. So it just has one independent clause. One independent clause. So here are some examples. My mother makes amazing enchiladas. Or Argentina and Chile are in South America. Or Jeanette read a book and reported on it. So if we look at these sentences, it has a subject and a verb. There's one subject and one verb. Or sometimes there's two subjects, Argentina and Chile, but there's still only one verb. About 10 more seconds to copy this down. You can just write one example if you want. You don't have to write all three, but write at least one example and the definition. A simple sentence has one independent clause and no dependent clause. Anyone have any questions on simple sentence? Okay, so this is an independent phrase plus a comma plus an independent phrase equals a compound sentence. So a compound sentence is two independent clauses joined by a comma and a conjunction or semicolon. Go ahead and write down this definition for compound sentence. A compound sentence is two independent clauses joined by a comma and a conjunction or a semicolon. So you're going to have two Batman clauses or independent clauses. So it's almost going to look like you have two sentences with a comma and a conjunction. For those of you who don't know what a conjunction is, that's words like and, but, or, and see here's the comma. So here's the first independent clause. Tori is the subject, went to the store with her mom, comma, conjunction is and then she helped for the family on Saturday night. See how Tori went to the store with her mom can be a sentence, and she helped for the family on Saturday night can be a sentence? But they're combined with a comma and an and. So, independent phrase, Tori went to the store with her mom, comma in conjunction, comma and, comma in conjunction, plus another independent phrase, She helped for the family on Saturday night is a compound sentence. Go ahead and write that example down and the definition under compound sentence. Okay. 10 more seconds. I see a couple more people still writing. Okay, for a complex sentence, you're going to have a dependent clause plus a comma and an independent clause to make a complex sentence. So a complex sentence is a dependent clause joined with an independent clause using a comma. Make sure you write that definition down. So first we're going to have a dependent clause, which is not a sentence. So before Chen planted his garden is not a full sentence. So this is the dependent clause. And then we have our comma. And then he made a sketch of the layout. That's a full sentence. He made a sketch of the layout. This is not a full sentence. When bees collect pollen, so this is a dependent clause. Then we have our comma. They pollinate the plants that they visit. That's a full sentence. So not a full sentence, a dependent clause, full sentence, independent clause. Go ahead and make sure you write down one example of a complex sentence and also the definition in your notes under complex sentence. A complex sentence is a dependent clause joined with an independent clause using a comma. Using a comma. It's a Robin clause plus a comma plus a Batman clause. Dependent plus comma plus independent clause. Any questions on complex sentences? Everyone get them for the most part? Okay. So we're going to do some practice. What kind of a sentence do we think this is? Cuba's capital is Havana. Do we think it's simple, compound, or complex? Simple? Good. Why do we think it's simple? Can someone explain why it's simple? Yeah. Because it is. Okay. What do we see in this sentence? What's the subject? Can someone tell me the subject? Yeah. Okay. Yes, technically this would be an independent clause by itself. But what is the subject of the sentence? Yeah.
Cuba's capital.
Cuba's capital. Good. What's the verb? Is. Good. Is. So that's what makes it a simple sentence. Has subject, verb, and that's it. Very simple. Let's try another one. Cuba's capital is Havana, and this beautiful city has been the center of Cuban culture since 1552. What do we think this is, Mario?
Compound.
Compound. Good. And why do we think it's compound? What word clues us in? Yeah, Janaea?